Students all over the world have faced the controversial issue of whether to sleep or study. You will see through interviews and graphs that this group has taken upon itself to ask students from different grades, teachers with different nationalities, and other diverse backgrounds the question of what is more important to them, sleep or study.
From the survey conducted, out of all responses, 41% of the people answered they gave more value to sleep, while 59% gave more value to study. The women defended mostly studying, but with men, the opinions were more divided, leaning more in favor of sleep. It's 12 a.m., you have a project due the next day, and you haven't started it yet. Would you rather finish it or turn it in late?
Eu acho que eu faria o projeto. Se eu não conseguir fazer antes e tal, então eu tentaria fazer o projeto. Se eu não conseguisse, eu tentaria entregar um pouco atrasado, mas tentaria fazer o projeto.
Nah, I'd finish the project, especially if it's something that I am close to failing.
I would do the project.
Então, se eu tivesse, fazer, um project e uma homework, eu acho que eu iria deixar de fazer, a homework e fazer o project, entendeu?
Depende. Se fosse um projeto muito importante, eu ia ficar até tarde fazendo. Agora, se fosse uma coisa que não fosse tão importante, eu ia entregar atrasado.
Out of the 15 high school students who took the survey, 13 answered they would finish the project, while only 2 answered they would turn it in late. However, the college and university students who submitted responses all said they would stay up late finishing the project. It's 12 a.m., you have a test the next day, and you haven't started studying for it. Would you have a late night cram session or sleep on it and wing it the next day?
Mas se eu não tivesse muita confiança, eu acho que eu continuaria estudando. Mas não muito para poder tentar ter um balance. Então, se eu tivesse 5 horas de sono, 4 horas de sono, eu acho que estaria ok.
I would study late, wouldn't sleep, in order to try and get a good grade. Well, I wouldn't study the entire time. I would sleep 3 hours then, because in 3 hours I would have to wake up, and I could sleep when I got home after school.
It's simply not worth it. And most of the time, even if you do spend your time studying instead of sleeping, there's a good chance that since you're not sleeping, the information is not even going to be recorded well and you won't be able to remember it the next day.
Dormir. Que eu não iria passar, deixar de dormir só se eu precisasse muito, assim, se fosse meh.
I think that sleep is more important because you cannot study effectively if you haven't slept. If your mind is not functioning and hasn't rested, even if you study, you're not going to remember it. I would cram.
Eu ia ficar até tarde estudando, porque prova vale mais, com certeza é mais importante. Então eu ia ficar estudando até tarde. Se eu fosse bom na matéria, eu ia deixar pro dia seguinte. Agora, se fosse uma coisa mais história, geografia que eu não sou bom, eu ia estudar muito. Entendeu?
From those who answered in the previous question that they would turn in the project late, 60% said they would wing the test. However, from those who answered in the previous question that they would finish the project, more than 80% continued prioritizing study by answering they would have a late night cram session for their test on the next day.
Because what it ends up happening is that a person ends up doing the project now, not getting much sleep, and then the next day she's so stressed that she won't be able to get sleep, or if she does, she won't sleep properly, actually making the problem bigger and bigger. When in reality it wasn't even something that important.
Ou perder o estudo ou ir bem na prova, você vai estar, no final das contas, vai estar perdendo do mesmo jeito, sabe? Então, eu tenho que ver que tipo de problema eu tenho, né? Se é o problema da escola que está me passando muita coisa que eu não consigo dar conta, ou é eu que não estou conseguindo dar conta ou me planejar para fazer o que eu tenho que fazer. Então,
Porque se eu estudar a noite inteira, eu vou saber tudo, mas vou estar cansado. Aí talvez na hora da prova eu não use tudo que eu sei.
From the responses of the working professionals, what was collected was that from the 6 who valued sleep, 4 of them still answered they would finish the project, and 5 of them answered they would cram to study for the test. What this brings to the floor is that even though people might value sleep more than study, they still fulfill their responsibilities.
For my students, I would say have better time management. But if you don't, you have to study. But as a mother, what's more important, sleep or study?
se você tenta ter uma rotina de estudos maior, daí você não precisa se dedicar ou gastar tanto tempo na noite anterior para a prova.
One female working professional who answered the survey suggested that to avoid these situations, to stay on top of your workload and keep organized, but stressed that you must deal with the consequences.